Hey guys, what's happening? Sean Ames here from Heart of America FPV, and we're back for another 2-minute tech support. This one is kind of at the core of what I wanted this series, these videos to be about. This question's coming at you from FPV Builders. It's a Facebook group that one of you guys actually suggested in the comments that I join. There's a lot of people building their first quads there, have questions, and it's a relatively healthy group, so I joined it. This question actually comes from a user named John V. Wemmer. His question jumped out at me because my dad's profile name is John V. So his question comes with a video clip. It looks like a cell phone video of a quad. So that's the video. John, I feel your pain, man. At the end of that video, I heard the sigh. We have all been there. I think we've got a quad ready to go, maybe. He had mentioned he had just had it in beta flight and making some adjustments, and we think we get something figured out. We take it outside and we arm it and we go to fly and it won't go anywhere, or it flips out or something. We've all been there, so keep your head up and know that it's just part of the stinking hobby. It's impossible to know exactly what's going on. There's always a lot of extra nuance of, something that might be happening that I don't realize from this video. It's not the clearest video, but it looks to me like the front left motor is kind of glitching. It's not going to a full idle. Whether you're running beta flight or flight 1, when you arm the quad, it should go to idle, where all 4 motors are going to spin, typically somewhere between 3 and 5% of their total power, I guess. So it looks like the other 3 motors are all idling, but the front left motor is not idling. It's kind of twitching and glitching a little bit. The number one thing that looks like to me is that one of your motor wires might be broken or desoldered or maybe shorted. So I would get into your build there, make sure that you've got good connections on all 3 motor wires to your ESC pads. Look extra close and make sure that nothing's bridged between your 3 motor pads. The next thing to do would be to take a multimeter and put it in continuity mode. Let me show you what that is. Here's my multimeter. You gotta have a good trusty multimeter if you're in this hobby. This little ohm sign there, that's the continuity mode. What that mode does is whatever you're probing, if they are connected, you get a beep sound. So that's continuity mode. What you can do with your motor is you can unsolder your motor, so completely desolder it from the ESC, and then touch all the possible pairs. So you would touch like motor wire 1 and 2, see if there's continuity. Then you would try 1 and 3, see if there's continuity. Then you would try 2 and 3 and see if there's continuity. There should always be continuity on all of those pairs. If there's not continuity and it looks like the wires themselves are in good shape, then unfortunately that means that wire is broke inside of the motor somewhere, and more than likely there's no real way to fix that. I've seen it sometimes where the motor wire connects to the winding of the motor. You can get in there and see if that has come apart or that there's a break somewhere in the motor wire itself. But honestly, if that break is inside of the motor, you're probably toast. Continuity mode won't tell you this, but there's a chance that motor is burnt, meaning that the way these motors work is there's that wire, they are all connected, and it runs continuous in there. It wraps around itself, but each one of the poles are not shorted out because there's an enamel on it. It's like a clear coating, and if you ever get your motors too hot, you'll smell that enamel burning. Been there, done that. I'm a racer. If that enamel gets too hot, then it actually melts away from the windings themselves, and then the wires will contact and smoke. It'll literally let out like a puff of white or gray smoke, which is kind of crazy. I've seen it at a lot of races. But that's my number one guess on what's going on here for your quad, is that there's either your motor is desoldered in some way, that a motor wire could be broken. The way you could confirm whether or not it's the motor is swap out the motor, put a different motor on there. The other thing you could do is you could take the front right motor and swap it with the front left motor and see if that makes a difference. If now it's the front right motor that's not spinning right, then now you know it was the motor, not anything else. If you roll out the motor, if you swap motors and it's still the front left motor, then it's probably an issue with your ESC. I would get in there and take a real good look at the ESC itself and make sure there's no solder blobs anywhere, that there's nothing making contact. Have a look at the FETs and make sure none of them look like they're burnt or broken. Anytime you have a failure and you think it's potentially an ESC, you need to handle this quad like it's a loaded weapon. Every now and again, when an ESC fails, it will fail and either burst into flames, jam that motor to full throttle, and you don't want to have props on it if that's the case. So be very, very careful in that manner. I guess that kind of sums up up my guesses in regard to what might be going on here. I hope it's helpful to you. Good luck with it. Do me a favor and give me a report. Let me know if you figured anything out. So John, good luck. To everyone else, thank you for checking this video out. Like I always say, I don't have a Patreon or anything, but I do have a link in the description to something I bought here recently on Amazon. Feel free to click that link. You'd be surprised. It's kind of like a little Easter egg hunt. Be surprised, see what I bought, because I buy too much crap on Amazon. And while you're there, if you buy something, it helps me out. So guys, thanks for checking this out. We're going to catch you next time on Heart of America FPV. Later.